Okay, so we're up to measurements. Now, look, this topic, I did say we should keep things on exact because you'll come across questions where you're required to show exact working or at least have solutions that's part exact and then only at the end do you turn it into, the actual number. Find the perimeter of the shape if x equals to this. I mean, like this one here. I mean, what is the definition of perimeter? It means add up all the sides, okay? Chuck this in your calculator. Now, let's have a look at if our calculator can have a bit of a problem. Sometimes if you do exact mode, they spit up weird questions. Okay, that's all right, 29. The answer is 29. Remember, 29 meter. Find the value of x if the perimeter is 29.3. So basically, x plus 4.7 plus 6.5 plus 9 equals to 29.3. You simply solve for x. Okay? Simply solve for x. So manual algebra solve. So x plus 4.7 plus 6.5. Wait. Plus 6.5 plus 9 equals to 29.3. Wait, what happened here? 29.3. Remember, the most important thing in the exam is not to panic. There's plenty of time. There's actually a lot of time. A lot more time than you actually really need. But when you start panicking, you start doing things and you completely lose confidence and you simply fall apart. That's not what you want. Now, this is a typical example of what happens with an exact value. Well, 91 over 10, I mean, you should know it's 9.1. But if you don't know, control enter 9.1. So 9.1 meter. Write an expression for x in terms of the perimeter, meaning perimeter is x. Well, that's exactly what I just wrote here. X plus 4.7 plus 6.5 plus 9. I mean, they probably require you to simplify the answers a bit. So 4.7 plus 6.5 plus 6.5 plus 9. Okay, once again, 11.5. Control enter, 20.2. So equals x plus 20.2. Okay. So whenever they require you to write something, you need to have it in a completed version. A circle has a radius of this amount, following round off to 2 decimal places where necessary. The circumference of a circle, well, we all know that equals to pi d. So circumference would be, well, d is radius, so it's 2 pi r instead, equals to 2 pi times 4. Well, dump this into your calculator. 2 times, now where is that symbol where you get the pi from? There we go. See this pi button here, you press that. Press pi times 4. 8 pi. Well, it wants to do, well, see, that's the advantage of having exact modes, because you may have to require to write this in the exact mode, but control enter will give us the value. So what is it? 25.13, because the third decimal point is a 2. Now, have I got these answers right? No, that's a wrong answer. Why? Because I haven't written down the unit. The rule for R in reference of the C. Well, if C equals to 2 pi R, how would you rearrange the equation for R? I have no idea. Let the calculator do the job. Manual algebra solve. Yes, you can use solve for this one as well. C equals to 2 times. Remember here you have to use times because we've got multiple different variable unknown, comma R. There we go. So it rearranges the equation to show you what R equals to. And so R, now whenever they require to do stuff like that, I mean, you can do it by hand, but you can do it if you know what to do, but don't risk it. The radius of a circle is circumference of 65 centimeters. Well, That's why they did it for you. So 65 over 2 pi. You simply put them down. 65 control fraction 2 times, okay, control enter, radius equals 2. Now, it should be 35 centimeter. Why is that the case? 10.345, well, that 4 can be turned into a 5 because, you round off the values. Okay, now we're getting into some more difficult questions. Getting to some difficult questions here. Find the perimeter of these objects. Well, what's the strategy? What's the perimeter of this? Hang on. Using exact values and round off to that. Well, the perimeter of this is like, well, you need to find 1, 2, and 3. I mean, 1 and 2 is quite easy. 3 plus 3, that equals to 6. We all understand this one here. How do we find that little curved part? Well, if the actual, you do have to understand this is only it's a portion of the entire circle. How much of a portion? 60 out of 360. All right, 60 out of 360. Pi, well, since they give us the radius, instead of pi times, we use 2 pi r. We use a 2 pi r sort of number. Okay, and what answer do we get out of this? So 6 plus 60, or maybe 1/6, okay, times 2 times pi. Well, what is our r value? Our r is 3. There we go, pi plus 6. So they want the first part of the equation exact, the second part control enter, boom. Round off to 1 decimal spots. This should still be, in millimeter form, right? The next one should be it says 1 decimal spot, therefore it should be 9.1 millimeter. Right, let's do the second equation here. It's it's very similar. It's very similar. It's a circle, yes, 8 plus 8, right? Now, if that's a right angle triangle, what's this? Well, that looks like 3/4 of a circle. It's 90 degrees, so it should be 270 degrees, which is basically 3/4 of a circle. Okay, so we basically go 3/4. Why the 3/4 and not 270 out of 360? Well, 270 out of 360 is 3/4 times 2 pi times r. So you simply type this stuff in. 8 plus 8 is 16. I really hope we know that at the very least. So 3/4 times 2 times pi times r. Boom, 12 pi plus 16. This is meter, right? Control enter. It says 1 decimal spot. So 53.7 meter. Okay, something like that. I'm only going to do 1 here. Find the length of the unknown side of these right angle triangle. Oh, well, look, this one here, square root of 14 squared plus, to 2 decimal spot. Nice and easy. Square root of 14 squared plus 5 squared. Boom. Well, 2 to 1. That would be 14.87 cm. All right. Our unknown is here. So basically, in order to figure out 1.6, it came from x squared plus 0.7 squared. So in order, you can literally type the equation in and just go solve. Solve x. Nice and easy. Why not? If you don't know how to rearrange the equation, simply just do solve. Again, x squared plus 0.7 squared equal to 1.6 squared, comma, x. Now, they give you some dodgy answers here. Control enter. Well, as you can see, x can only be a positive answer. So 1.4 kilometer. How do I know the right answer? That number must be smaller than this. Okay, so the negative answer can't be correct. Because it's a square number, whenever you solve for x, you would realize from quadratics, it's that you should get a positive and negative x. Here, nice and simple, done. This one here is what I classify as a double hypotenuse. Find BE, leaving your answer in exact form. Well, look at this. BE essentially is like short. So square root of 7 squared plus, well, what's AE? That's 4 squared. That would equal to square root of 53. And since there is no actual unit, we simply leave it like this. So square root of 53. Find BH. I mean, BH essentially is HE squared plus BE squared. And so what we do is HE squared. HE is the height, which is 3. So 3 squared plus, what's BE? Well, this is BE, isn't it? That's what they want to find out. Now remember, if you square and square rooted value, clear the page. Now, if you square root this number, let's say 53, and you put a square in front of it, boom, you lose the square value. So plus 3. So it just simply becomes 53. Okay, and we, in order to figure out BH, well, BH equals to square root, because at the moment, the original value is squared. BH by itself should be square root of 9 plus 53 equals to square root of 62. And it wants to do the 2 decimal spots. So square root of 62, control enter, 7.87. Well, there is no unit, so leave that as it is. All right, so let's go to measurements. Find the area. I mean, look, the area is fairly simple. We're not gonna do too many of these. How about, look, with the area thing, I'm not even gonna do that. I mean, the answer's already written, so I'm not gonna actually do a lot of those answers. Length times width. Okay, so this is length by width, or in this case, length by length. Half length by width, because if you rearrange this shape, you should get a half. You should basically, if you rearrange this part here, you should create, that's why it's half, basically, half of a length by width, if you will. Okay? Again, trapezium is basically two lots of rectangle, and they simply halve it. So it's half of something. Have a look at the final answer. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Well, how did you get pi r squared? Essentially, is like, you know, is like a trapezium. This one here, I'm going to do those ones here. Those slightly harder one. First of all, radius is 2.5 because it's half of 5. So the area would be pi times 2.5 squared. But hang on, you need to times by half. Why? Because it's half a circle. So it's half times pi times 2.5 squared. Boom. Now you get 25 per whatever, blah, blah, blah. You simply control enter. You get 9.8, how many decimal? To 2 decimal. 9.82 cm squared. Remember to write cm squared. This one here, again, it's a circle, but is that half a circle? Of course not. It's not half a circle. Well, it's, what's 360 take away 150? That's 210 degrees. So the circle that is covered on the inside is 210 degrees out of that, times pi times 3. And let's put the area into equation. So you put in a bracket, 210, 360 times pi times r squared times 3 squared. Okay, you get some dodgy looking answer, but no, you simply get 16.49 meters squared. Did I do a square here? Yes, I did. Okay. Okay, so how about find the total surface area of these shapes? How about we move on to something actually challenging that require significant degrees of work? Now, we go straight to the last one here. Remember, surface 1, surface 2, surface 3. You need to, it's 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, because there's 2 lots of each ones. How do we find area of 1? 7 times 3 is 21 mm squared. What's 2? It's 9 times 3 mm squared. What's the third one here? It's 9 times 7 equals to, 9 times 7, 63 mm squared. Add them all up together, times by 2. So here we go, 21 plus 27 plus 63 times 2. 222. Total surface area equals 222. Move on. The next one here will become quite difficult. So this will be an extended video. As I said, two lots of, let's get the calculator in effect. 2 lots of area here. I mean, how would you do this one here? I mean, how do we find area of a circle? Isn't it pi times 0.9 squared? Now, why is it 0.9 squared? Radius is half of that. All right, so 2 times pi times 0.9 squared. It equals 2 times 0.9 squared. Well, we've got 81 pi over 50. Let's just leave it as it is. How do we figure out the curved area? Well, it's circumference times h, which is 2.5. What is the circumference? Circumference equals to pi times diameter, which happens to be 1.8 pi. So, this is for the circle. Now, how do we find the circumference here? We do circumference times height. So 1.8 pi times 2.5. Nice and easy. 1.8 pi times 2.5. You get 9 pi over 2. Okay, and what do you do next? You add the 2 together. How do we do this? Run plus run equal control enter, boom, do and forget. Total surface area 19.23 centimeter squared. I mean, the working is shown, and most importantly, we left it in exact values. Well, if we're going to ask you to find volume, they didn't ask you to find volume, but if you have to find volume, it's essentially a surface area times the third side. Put it in a 10/10. So for instance, if it's a volume here, it would be the surface area multiplied by height. Here, you can do a number of ways. You can find one surface area, multiply the third side. Hence, I said the third side. The cross-sectional area multiplied by the third side. Okay, something like this. Nice and easy.